Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me for my review of the 1990 film Home Alone, directed by Chris Columbus and starring Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci, and Daniel Stern. So, to give a little background about my experiences with Home Alone, I remember when Home Alone came out. It was a very big movie. A lot of people were talking about it. I remember going to see it in the theater as a kid, and I pretty much loved it. It left a great impression on me. And over the years, I've continued to watch Home Alone just about every holiday season. And I think there's a couple reasons for that, which I will get into. But to quickly give the plot of Home Alone for those who haven't seen it, basically a family decides that they're going to go on vacation during the Christmas season. And the problem is they, through a series of kind of strange circumstances, wind up leaving one of their kids home alone. Now, this would be enough of a problem on its own, but it becomes an even bigger issue when it's known that two burglars in the area are robbing houses during the same time period, which you can imagine could lead to some trouble. So, Home Alone is a combination, I would say, of slapstick comedy, physical humor, and drama. And surprisingly, all these three things mixed together very well in this film. I think that's one of the reasons it works. The pacing is really great in this film. This movie flies by no matter how many times I see it. And the soundtrack is also really great. The film was nominated for two Oscars, one for Best Song and one for Best Score, which is done by John Williams, who in my opinion is one of the greatest composers of all time. And I think his work on Home Alone is a little underrated. I never hear it really mentioned among his great scores, and I do think it's right up there among the best. It fits the film perfectly. There's also a lot of Christmas classics throughout the film, and they're used very, very effectively. Each song fits the moment it's used in perfectly, in my opinion. But the real reason Home Alone works, in my opinion, is the same reason that most films work. The characters are very, very memorable, and they're very, very fleshed out as well. A little bit more than I think people realize. I mean, Kevin McAllister, the main character, as well as Harry and Marv, the burglars, are all very, very fully realized characters, and Kevin even goes through some character development in the film, which is kind of subtle. It might not be noticeable on first watch, but I noticed a lot this time that his character is very believable and his reactions are very believable throughout the film. But even some of the supporting characters are pretty memorable in this movie. There's a side plot with a man named Old Man Marley that's handled very, very effectively and works. And there's even a pizza delivery guy that's memorable in this film. Which leads to the next thing I like about this film is that it seems like almost every scene in this film is a classic in some way. There's a lot of memorable scenes, and a lot of that has to do with the comedy in the film. There's a couple scenes in particular that, even though they're a little bit implausible, I have to admit, with a videotape, a VHS tape, for those that remember those, uh, that are really, really funny in this movie and very memorable, one of the most memorable parts of the film. So the film just overall has a great personality and it's just a lot of fun to watch. But like I said, there's also some drama in this film, but it's not overdone or over the top. The dramatic moments feel earned, and the whole thing just works for me. Now, if I do have a few objective issues with Home Alone, they basically all go to the same place. You do have to suspend your disbelief at times watching this film. Those that have a hard time buying into some of the implausible situations may not enjoy this film as much as I did. They work for me, but there's definitely some places where you have to suspend your disbelief. And there's also quite a few plot conveniences where things happen just exactly when they need to for the movie to further along. But for me, that's a slight complaint on what's overall a great holiday film. To me, Home Alone has everything you want in a holiday film. It's fun, it's entertaining, it's funny, but it has some nice drama to it as well. So I'm going to give Home Alone a 4.5 out of 5. And if you've never seen Home Alone, I definitely recommend this film for those who like great holiday movies or just enjoy slapstick comedy, as we don't get a lot of slapstick comedy in the modern age of filmmaking. So 4.5 out of 5 for Home Alone. And as always, thank you very much for watching.